If you've been eating raw garlic every morning, hoping it will improve your blood flow, energy, or performance, there's something important you need to know. You may be using garlic in a way that leaves a lot of its potential on the table. And the interesting part is, you don't need an expensive supplement or some complicated routine. One simple food pairing can work alongside garlic through a completely different pathway involved in nitric oxide production. Almost nobody talks about this. I'm Dr. Aletha, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what to combine with garlic, how to prepare it properly, and how to build a simple morning routine around it. Here's why nitric oxide matters. Your blood vessels naturally produce nitric oxide, and one of its most important jobs is to signal the muscles surrounding those vessels to relax. When that happens, the vessels can widen and blood can move through them more easily. That process is important for circulation throughout your body, including the blood flow involved in physical stamina and sexual function. But as men get older, the ability of the vascular system to produce and maintain nitric oxide can decline. You may notice the consequences as lower exercise capacity, less energy, slower recovery, or changes in sexual performance without realizing that vascular health is part of the picture. Now let's talk about garlic. Fresh garlic contains compounds that become especially interesting when you crush or chop the clove. One of the best known is allicin, and here's the mistake I see people make. They crush the garlic and immediately throw it into a hot pan. If you're specifically trying to preserve the allicin-forming reaction, that's not the best approach. Crush or chop the garlic first, then let it sit for about 10 minutes. That gives the enzyme reaction time to produce allicin before you expose it to significant heat. It's a tiny change, but it can make a big difference in how you prepare it. Now comes the pairing I want you to remember. Garlic with nitrate-rich vegetables. Beets, spinach, arugula, and other leafy greens naturally contain dietary nitrate. Your body can convert nitrate into nitrite, and that pathway can contribute to nitric oxide availability. Garlic, meanwhile, contains sulfur compounds that interact with different systems involved in vascular function. In other words, you're not simply adding more of the same thing. You're bringing two different nutritional pathways into the same meal. This is why a simple combination like crushed garlic with beetroot or leafy greens makes so much sense. Research has investigated combinations of garlic-derived compounds and dietary nitrate, including a 2023 clinical study published in Curious that reported substantial reductions in blood pressure and increases in nitric oxide-related markers with a garlic and nitrate combination. That's one reason this pairing has attracted attention. It doesn't mean the combination is a guaranteed treatment for high blood pressure or erectile dysfunction, but it does give us a very interesting nutritional strategy to work with. So, how do you actually use it? Keep it simple. Take 1 or 2 crushed garlic cloves and add them to a meal containing spinach, arugula, or another nitrate-rich vegetable. You can also use beetroot or a modest serving of beetroot juice. If you're making a salad, this becomes incredibly easy. Add your greens, some beetroot, crushed garlic, lemon juice, and extra virgin olive oil. You've got a nutrient-dense meal without needing a complicated recipe. And there's another pairing that deserves attention: garlic and vitamin C. This one is especially easy because you probably already have vitamin C-rich foods in your kitchen. Lemons, oranges, kiwi, strawberries, and bell peppers are all excellent sources. Why does vitamin C matter? Because nitric oxide is vulnerable to oxidative stress. Your body can produce it, but the surrounding environment can influence how long that signal remains available. Vitamin C is an antioxidant, which is one reason researchers have studied whether it can help protect nitric oxide-related pathways. Research involving garlic and vitamin C has produced interesting results. In one study, Garlic, combined with vitamin C, produced a stronger improvement in blood pressure than garlic alone, while laboratory experiments suggested that adding vitamin C could substantially increase nitric oxide production compared with garlic compounds by themselves. Again, this doesn't mean lemon juice is a treatment for hypertension, but it does make a garlic and citrus combination a very easy addition to a healthy diet. Try this tomorrow morning. Crush 1 garlic clove, let it sit for 10 minutes, then add it to your breakfast or lunch alongside fresh lemon juice and vegetables. If raw garlic is too harsh for you, mix it into a meal instead of swallowing it by itself. You don't need to make the experience miserable just because someone on the internet told you that more garlic is better. Now, let's bring extra virgin olive oil into the picture. Olive oil isn't just there to make the garlic taste better. Extra virgin olive oil contains monounsaturated fat and polyphenols that have been associated with cardiovascular and endothelial health. The endothelium is the thin layer of cells lining your blood vessels, and keeping it functioning properly is essential for healthy circulation. That's why garlic, greens, lemon, and extra virgin olive oil make such a powerful food combination. You're not relying on one ingredient. You're building a meal around several foods that support cardiovascular health in different ways. Drizzle 1 or 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil over your vegetables. Add your crushed garlic, squeeze fresh lemon over the top, and you've already created a much smarter meal than simply swallowing a raw garlic clove with water. But there is one important safety warning here. Never store fresh garlic submerged in oil at room temperature. That environment can allow dangerous bacteria associated with botulism to grow. If you make garlic and oil mixtures, keep them refrigerated and use them promptly. Now let's talk about nuts and seeds, because this is where another piece of the nitric oxide puzzle comes in. Your body needs raw materials to produce nitric oxide, and one important amino acid involved in this pathway is L-arginine. Foods such as walnuts, almonds, and pumpkin seeds naturally contain L-arginine along with healthy fats, minerals, and other nutrients. Think of it this way. If nitric oxide production is a factory, garlic can influence some of the machinery, while L-arginine provides part of the raw material the system uses. Clinical research on supplemental L-arginine has found reductions in blood pressure in some populations, although supplements aren't the same thing as getting arginine from whole foods. That's why I prefer the simple approach. Add a small handful of walnuts, almonds, or pumpkin seeds to your meal instead of immediately reaching for a supplement. And if you want to take this even further, don't forget omega-3 fats. Salmon, sardines, and mackerel are excellent sources of EPA and DHA and have a well-established place in heart-healthy eating patterns. Their effects aren't about creating some instant nitric oxide surge. They're about supporting cardiovascular health over time. Aim for fatty fish a couple of times per week if you enjoy it. Now imagine what your morning meal could look like. A handful of spinach or arugula, some beetroot, 1 or 2 properly prepared garlic cloves, fresh lemon juice, a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, and a small handful of walnuts or pumpkin seeds. That's a simple meal, but nutritionally, it's doing much more than a single ingredient ever could. And here's the part I don't want you to miss. Don't turn this into another search for a miracle food. Your blood vessels aren't waiting for one secret ingredient. They respond to what you do consistently: regular exercise, good sleep, healthy blood pressure, maintaining a healthy weight, avoiding smoking, controlling blood sugar, and eating a nutrient-dense diet all matter. Garlic can be part of that strategy, but the goal isn't to eat 5 or 6 cloves and expect your circulation to transform overnight. The goal is consistency. And please be smart about safety. Garlic can affect bleeding and may interact with certain medications. If you're taking blood thinners, medication for blood pressure, or other regular prescriptions, speak with your doctor before dramatically increasing your garlic intake or starting concentrated garlic supplements. The same applies if you're preparing for surgery. And if raw garlic causes severe heartburn, stomach pain, or digestive problems, there's no reason to force it. You can still get the benefits of a healthy diet without making yourself uncomfortable. So if you remember only one thing from this video, remember this. Don't think of garlic as a miracle ingredient. Think of it as one piece of a larger blood flow supporting meal. Crush it, give it about 10 minutes before heating, and pair it with nitrate-rich vegetables such as spinach, arugula, or beetroot. Add vitamin C from lemon or other fruits and vegetables. Use extra virgin olive oil. Add a few walnuts or pumpkin seeds. And include omega-3 rich fish regularly. That's a much more intelligent approach than swallowing raw garlic every morning and hoping for a dramatic result. Because when it comes to healthy circulation, the small things you do consistently can matter far more than one extreme habit you follow for a week and then abandon. I'm Dr. Aletha. If you found this information useful, subscribe for more straightforward men's health and healthy aging education. And tell me in the comments, which garlic combination would you actually try? Beetroot, leafy greens, lemon, olive oil, or walnuts? And remember, this video is for educational purposes only and is not personalized medical advice. If you have a medical condition or take prescription medication, talk with your healthcare professional before making significant dietary or supplement changes.